According to the National Electrical Code, Article 400.8, flexible cords and cables are not permitted to be used as a substitute for fixed wiring. In this case, the use of SJ or so cord to power projectors in a suspended drop ceiling is not compliant with the NEC. Receptacles must be installed in a box or enclosure, as stated in 400.12, and secured in place, as indicated in 400.13. Flexible cords should also be protected from damage, according to 400.11, which means the cord in the drop ceiling needs to be secured properly to prevent damage. The proper way to install projectors would be to run electrical conduit or wire molding in the drop ceiling and terminate it with a junction box or outlet. The projectors would then be connected to the outlet using a power cord that meets the requirements of NEC Article 400. In addition, the use of open plugs in a drop ceiling is not compliant with NEC Article 400.12, which states that receptacles installed in flush device boxes shall be mounted so that the face of the receptacle is not more than 0.6 meters or 24 inches above the finished floor. In this case, the receptacles are not mounted in flush device boxes and are not more than 0.6 meters or 24 inches above the finished floor. Therefore, placing receptacles in the drop ceiling to feed the projectors and just plugging them in is not compliant with the NEC. It's important to understand why the NEC has these regulations in place. The primary reason is safety. Flexible cords are not designed for permanent installation and can be easily damaged, leading to potential fire hazards or electrical shocks. Firstly, the insulation on flexible cords is typically not as robust as the insulation on fixed wiring methods like THH and conductors and conduit. This makes them more susceptible to damage from abrasion, crushing, or repeated bending. In a drop ceiling environment, where cords may be exposed to sharp edges of metal framing or other equipment, the risk of damage is even higher. Secondly, flexible cords are not designed to be supported in the same way as fixed wiring. They are meant to be used for temporary connections and are not intended to be strung across long distances or supported by their own weight. Over time, this can cause the cord to sag, stretch, and eventually fail. Thirdly, the use of open plugs in a drop ceiling creates a potential shock hazard. If someone were to accidentally touch the exposed prongs of a plug, they could receive a dangerous electrical shock. Additionally, the use of open plugs is not aesthetically pleasing and can create a cluttered and unprofessional appearance. The NEC provides specific guidelines for the proper installation of electrical wiring in suspended ceilings to ensure safety and prevent these types of hazards. When installing electrical wiring in a suspended ceiling, it is important to use a wiring method that is approved for this type of application. This typically means using electrical conduit, such as EMT or rigid conduit, or cable wiring methods like AC or MC cable. These wiring methods are designed to be securely supported and protected from damage. The conduit or cable should be properly secured to the building structure using approved hangers and supports. The spacing between supports should be in accordance with the NEC requirements. All electrical connections should be made inside of approved junction boxes or enclosures. These boxes provide a safe and secure place to make splices and terminations. The boxes should be properly grounded and bonded to the building's grounding system. When installing receptacles in a suspended ceiling, they should be mounted in flush device boxes and the face of the receptacle should not be more than 0.6 meters or 24 inches above the finished floor, as stated in 400.12. This ensures that the receptacles are easily accessible and that the plugs are properly supported. The conductors used for the wiring should be sized appropriately for the load they will be carrying. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable ampacity of different types of conductors. It is important to select conductors that are large enough to handle the expected current draw of the projectors. The circuit should be protected by a circuit breaker or fuse of the appropriate size. This will help to prevent overloads and short circuits. The circuit breaker or fuse should be located in a readily accessible location. All electrical work should be performed by a qualified electrician who is familiar with the NEC requirements. This will help to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Ignoring these regulations can have serious consequences. In addition to the safety hazards mentioned above, Non-compliant installations can also result in fines and other penalties from local authorities. Insurance companies may also refuse to cover damages caused by non-compliant electrical work. The NEC is a comprehensive set of regulations that covers all aspects of electrical installations. It is important to be familiar with the NEC requirements and to follow them carefully. If you are unsure about any aspect of the NEC, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the compliant methods. Firstly, conduit. Conduit provides the highest level of protection for electrical wiring. It is a rigid metal or plastic tube that encloses the conductors and protects them from physical damage, moisture, and other environmental factors. ENT, or electrical metallic tubing, is a lightweight steel conduit that is commonly used in commercial and industrial applications. It is easy to install and provides excellent protection for conductors. Rigid conduit is a heavier-duty steel conduit that is used in applications where greater physical protection is required. It is often used in underground installations or in areas where the wiring is exposed to severe weather conditions. Secondly, cable wiring methods. AC cable, or armored cable, is a type of cable that consists of insulated conductors wrapped in a flexible metal sheath. The metal sheath provides physical protection for the conductors and also serves as a grounding conductor. NEC cable, or metal-clad cable, is similar to AC cable, but it has a heavier-duty metal sheath. It is often used in applications where greater physical protection is required. When using cable wiring methods in a suspended ceiling, it is important to properly support the cable and to protect it from damage. The cable should be secured to the building structure using approved cable supports. The support should be spaced in accordance with the NEC requirements. The cable should also be protected from sharp edges or other objects that could damage the insulation. Thirdly, junction boxes. Junction boxes are used to enclose electrical connections and to protect them from the environment. They are typically made of metal or plastic and are available in a variety of sizes and shapes. When installing junction boxes in a suspended ceiling, it is important to properly support the box and to ensure that it is securely fastened to the building structure. The box should be located in an accessible location so that it can be easily inspected and maintained. All electrical connections inside the junction box should be made using approved connectors. The connectors should be properly tightened to ensure a secure connection. Fourthly, receptacles. Receptacles are used to provide a convenient way to connect electrical equipment to the power supply. They are typically mounted in flush device boxes and are available in a variety of configurations. When installing receptacles in a suspended ceiling, it is important to mount them in flush device boxes and to ensure that the face of the receptacle is not more than 0.6 meters or 24 inches above the finished floor. This will ensure that the receptacles are easily accessible and that the plugs are properly supported. The conductors used to wire the receptacle should be sized appropriately for the load they will be carrying. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable ampacity of different types of conductors. It is important to select conductors that are large enough to handle the expected current draw of the equipment that will be plugged into the receptacles. The circuit that supplies the receptacle should be protected by a circuit breaker or fuse of the appropriate size. This will help to prevent overloads and short circuits. The circuit breaker or fuse should be located in a readily accessible location. It is crucial to remember that electrical codes can be complex and may vary depending on the local jurisdiction. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure that your electrical installations are compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Adhering to the NEC and local electrical codes is not just a matter of compliance, it's a matter of safety. It protects people from electrical hazards and prevents property damage. By understanding and following the code requirements, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, reliable, and compliant. If there is any uncertainty about the proper way to do something, it's always best to seek the advice of a qualified electrician. They have the knowledge and experience to ensure that the work is done correctly and safely. They can also help you navigate the complexities of the electrical code and ensure that your installations are compliant with all applicable regulations. Also consider future needs when planning electrical installations. Think about the potential for future expansion or changes in equipment. It may be wise to install additional conduit or wiring to accommodate future needs. This can save time and money in the long run by avoiding the need to rewire the system later on. Document all electrical work that is performed. This includes the location of wiring, conduit, junction boxes, and other electrical components. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. It can also be useful if you ever need to make changes to the electrical system. Proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. The grounding system provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker or fuse and prevent electrical shock. Ensure that all electrical equipment is properly grounded in accordance with the NEC requirements. Regularly inspect electrical installations to identify any potential problems. Look for signs of damage such as frayed wires, cracked insulation, or loose connections. If you find any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician as soon as possible. Finally, consider energy efficiency when designing and installing electrical systems. Use energy-efficient lighting and appliances. Install occupancy sensors to turn off lights when rooms are unoccupied. Use timers to control the operation of equipment. By taking these steps, you can reduce your energy consumption and save money on your electricity bill.